This video is brought to you by Freewell. If you want to use ND filters for your DJI Avata 2 drone, then do check out the link in the description and get your pack today. So thank you Freewell for sponsoring this video. Today we'll be talking about ND filters for the DJI Avata 2, how to use them, when to use them, and we'll get some interesting shots using these. So let's go. So Freewell were kind enough to send a whole bunch of ND filters for the DJI Avata 2 for me to test, and yes, I do get to keep them, and this is a sponsored video, but Freewell do not get to see the video before you guys. So if the filters suck, I'm gonna say they suck. So I got a pack of ND filters going from ND8, ND16, ND32 and ND64, which pretty much covers any type of lighting scenario when you're flying outside. Plus, on top of that, I got a polarizer and a UV protection filter, which I don't know why I would use that. Maybe just as a protection for the camera if I don't use ND filters, but since I have them, I'll be using them, well, quite a lot because they do make a big difference. Now, why do we use ND filters in the first place? Well, these are basically sunglasses for the camera, and they allow you to shoot with a slower shutter speed. Now, more precisely, if you want to get that cinematic motion blur, you have to go with that 1/50th of a second shutter speed. And you can only get that if you stop the light from coming through the lens, because you only have two things to adjust on the DJI Avata 2. That is the ISO, which you can keep as low as you want, and the shutter speed, which at 1/50th of a second is going to produce a way overblown image. So this is where ND filters come into play. Now you can use different filters for different times of day and even different weather situations. So if it's a really bright day, you have to go with an ND32, and if it's a murky cloudy day, you can go with an ND8. And here's a chart showing different scenarios and how much stops of light you're blocking with a specific ND filter. But the idea is to keep those settings manual and that shutter speed around 1/50th of a second. This way you'll be getting motion blur. Now the reason why there are 4 filters in here is, well, you have to match the filter to the outside environment, to the outside light. So if it's really bright, you can easily go with ND32, and if it's kind of a gloomy, dark, cloudy day, you can use ND8. Now the ND64 would be used for time lapses if you want to get motion blur. So if you want to position the drone somewhere top and record a video where things will be flying around and you want to capture that, well, that's where the ND64 comes into play. But honestly, between ND8 and ND32, you have every scenario covered. I'm bothering a crow up there. Anyway, the polarizer blocks the reflected light, this way increasing the saturation of the colors, and it's ideal for photography. Now this is a lovely spot to show you an example of how the polarizer works. I'm using the Freewell ND filters, actually the Freewell polarizer, on my DJI Osmo Action 4, and it does the exact same job as the one on the Avata 2. So this now is a polarized shot, and this now is a non-polarized shot. Pay attention to the water. You see the reflections? And now the reflections are gone. Simple. Now you can always add motion blur in post-production. Sometimes I do that if I don't have my ND filters with me, but nothing makes the footage look as good as natural 1/50th of a second shutter speed. Now you can also experiment with the shutter speeds, maybe 1/80th of a second or maybe even 1/100th of a second. But for me personally, I find that 1/50th to be just the right amount. It really makes you feel like you're going fast. And since the Avata has that 155 extremely wide angle lens, if you fly close to the ground and close to the surrounding elements, you will really feel the speed, and this is where that motion blur is really necessary. No, but having too much motion blur can also cause a problem. Now, the reason for that fast frame rate is, well, you need to have clear images in your goggles, otherwise you're going to start to crash into things. And having a fast shutter speed alongside with that gives you clear view through the glasses. And the reason for this is that the Avata, the FPV and the Avata 2 all have just the one camera, the one that's meant for viewing through the glasses, and the one that's also recording the video. So you have a limit with frame rate there. Now the filters attached to the camera lens of the drone, mechanically you just clip them on, and they are quite difficult to take off, at least for the first time. But once they get fitted after a few mountings, well, then it's easier to put them on and easier to take them off. But they do lock on quite hard, so they will definitely not fall down mid-flight. And I think that even if you crash the drone or bump it, the filter will stay on the camera. The colors stay pretty much the same. I've tried the ND8, ND16, ND32, and I don't see any white balance or color shifts, which means that these are really high quality, very neutral density, glass filters that don't, change the colors, and they don't add a vignette or a cross or anything. So these really keep your video at a high quality. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say about the ND filters from Freewell for the DJI Avata 2. I think this is a really cool pack. I think all filters that Freewell make are good because I have quite a few of them for different cameras and they never let me down. So I do recommend them. Use the links down in the description. They are affiliate links, so you are technically helping me out with that. But yeah, they're definitely worth checking out. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit the like button for the algorithm. Consider subscribing if you're new and if you want to watch more videos like this. And well, leave a comment down below if you have any further questions about these. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.